No, from 2 days we started the Bhagavatam. Ayodhya saying.
So then Krishna speaks about his opulences, and then Krishna. Which one will come late?
Coming.
Okay. So,
She was trying to
I don't know. इसलिए actually talk किया सबने मिला है. I did like a false ago. Okay, then Krishna speaks about his opulences, and then he says, although these are my opulences, still people don't know me because they are covered by my illusory energy, which is very difficult to overcome. But those who surrender onto me can easily cross beyond it. Then Krishna says, four kind of people they never approach me, and four kind of people who approach me. Those who never approach me, they are like mudas. Mudas are like foolish workers, or they work very hard, and then they have no time for Krishna. Prabhupada gives an example of donkeys or ass. They work whole day for little grass which is everywhere. Then there is Naradhamas. Nara means human and Adhama is like fallen. So Naradhama means lowest of mankind. 99% of people are Naradhamas. They are socially developed, but they have no religious principles. They may go to some temples here and there, but they are mostly interested in wealth and other things. They are Naradhamas. Then the third, they never approach Krishna. Like I remember, I was doing book distribution in Farmington Hills, home to home. So I went to a home and I said, come for the temple Sunday feast. He said, I work 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. in our restaurant. So I'm like, okay. So that is like Mudas, like they work very hard, shifts, 3 shifts, 4 shifts, and then they have no time. And these Naradamas, they are like, they walk with suit and tie and they look very cultured people, but then they are not interested in spiritual life. Their consciousness is totally towards um, economic development and sense gratification. So they are called Naradhamas. Mostly these people. Then there are some people who are like they seem to be religionists. They are called Maya Paharita Jnana. Their Gyan, their knowledge is taken by Maya. They may give some talks also. They may write some books on philosophy. Pose as very learned, but then their knowledge or conclusion of their knowledge is stolen by illusory energy. And there are fourth classes who are asurim, asura, or atheists or envious of God. They don't want to approach God. So although Krishna says, although all the opulences come from me because of illusory energy, they don't recognize, so they don't surrender onto me. But if somebody surrender, they can overcome the illusory energy. But these four kind of people, they never surrender onto me. And the four kind of people they do surrender. And this we discussed earlier in our NOD discussion. The distressed, Gajendra, desire of wealth, Dhruva, inquisitive, sages of Nimesharanaya, and in knowledge, liberated souls like Sukadev, Goswami, and four Kumaras. Krishna says, anybody who approach me are Mahatmas because they approach Krishna. But among them, the Jnani are the best because they are free from material desires, because they are liberated.
So we have to remember this Sanskrit words are just
Sanskrit not needed, but
yeah.
For
Examples, English.
all of these four kind of people, you should remember. Then there are others who. So, what are the kind of people we discuss? We discuss the kind of people who never approach. We discuss kind of people who approach Krishna. But there are others impious or who are not like atheist, but then they approach maybe demigods or some other. So others who are not in above two categories, they approach demigods. When Krishna speaks about who approach demigods, those who are less intelligent. Their surrender is improper. They do surrender, but their surrender is not proper. Their worship is described as avidhi purvakam or wrong way. Their worship is motivated by material desire. See, Krishna devotee worship can also be motivated by material desire. But devotees of Krishna will become free from material desire through that worship, and devotees of demigods will simply fulfill their material desires. Then demigod worship, the result they get is only temporary, and that result comes from Krishna anyways. Krishna is in heart of those demigod worshippers, and he make their faith steady in those demigods. And after death, they go to the planet of demigods. So you can write an essay on demigod worshippers. These are some of the topics we have discussed very, very much in the past.
Profiles.
So then, this is demigod worshippers. Are you all clear about demigod worshippers? Everyone has heard sufficiently about it, right? No need to explain. Is demigod worship bad or good? Yes. Yeah, it is better than these four classes of people. But those who come to Krishna, they are great. But those who don't come to Krishna, they don't have Sukriti, then they may approach demigods. But then their results are temporary. But if they come to Krishna, they will quickly become purified. But they will just get desires and it's over. You have a question?
No.
So others worship impersonal. There are others also. They are pious people. They don't approach demigods. They don't approach Krishna, but they approach Brahman. So they are considered as unintelligent. See, less intelligent demigod worshipper. Unintelligent is impersonal worshippers. They think that Krishna's form and activities are temporary manifestation of Brahman. And the result is, what is the result of, what do they get? The impersonal worshipper, the result is, the Lord choose not to reveal himself to such people. So they never understand Krishna. So finally, the conclusion of 7th chapter, Krishna says, again he says, I know past, present, future. I know all living entities, but me no one knows. Why people don't know Krishna? Because Krishna says, they don't know me no one knows, because they are covered by desire and hatred. Ichha dvesha samuthena dvandva mohena bharata sarva bhutani sammoham. Sarva bhutani sammoham. They are all covered by my illusory energy. Ichha dvesha. They are influenced by ichha and dvesh, by desire and hatred. They want something and they hate something. And because of which they are covered by dvandva, dualities, moha, illusion, bharata. Sarva bhutani sammoham. So because of this, although I know all living entities, the living entity, because they are covered by Ichha, Dvesha and Dvandva, they are all covered by my illusionary energy, so they don't know me. But those who have acted piously in many past lives, they become free from such dualities and they worship me with determination. These are very, very nice verses. Yesham tvanta gatam papam jadanam punya karmanam tridvanda moha nirmukta. Bhajante mam jadavrata. So those who are pious or devotional in previous life for many, many births, they become free from such ichha and dvesha and dvandva. They become free from such things. And they come to know, they develop knowledge about me and they worship me with determination. Such people who worship me with determination, they are intelligent and they take shelter in devotional service. Such Brahman actually know about transcendental activities. They know me as Adi Bhuta, Adi Daiva, Adi Yagya. Hence, they can know me at the time of death. Adi Daiva Adi Yag. They know. See, there are many words used in the end of 7th chapter. Krishna says, Adhyatma, Karma, they are Brahman, they are Adi Bhuta, they are Adi Daiva, they are Adi Yag. I am Adi Yagya. They know me as all these things. But Arjuna is not able to understand. That's where the chapter 8 begins with Arjuna asking, Sir, what is Brahman? What is Adi Atma? What is Karma? What is Adi Bhuta? What is Adi Deva? What is Adi Yagya? And Krishna also says, hence they can know me at the time of death. Then Arjuna asks, how can one know you at the time of death? So where the last two verses end of 7th chapter begins the question for the 8th chapter for Krishna. Clear? Huh? समझ नहीं आ रहा क्या क्या कह रहे हैं
Clear as white level. We understand and say.
क्लियर ऑल क्लियर हो गया व्हाट डू वी डू
Adi Yagna.
so if you remove these two verses is everything else clear yeah okay so that's why Arjuna was also not clear nothing to feel bad about so Arjuna says hey sir slow down please tell me what is Brahman what is Adi Atma what is Karma what is Adi Bhuta what is Adi Deva what is Adi Yagya and how can one know you at the time of death Krishna says Brahman are the living entities Brahman are jivas what is Brahman what is Brahman huh
Brahman.
Brahman Brahman
Brahman.
Mayavadi are Brahmans impersonal form of God is Brahman so Jiva is also Brahman
The Jivas are Brahman. The Mayavadi says
Aham Brahmasmi right that's also it says I am Brahman so is it wrong to say Aham Brahmasmi
it's wrong.
Aham Brahmasmi is wrong no it's written in Vedanta Sutra Aham Brahmasmi हाँ Adi Shankaracharya I mean he propagated it देखो 8th chapter Arjuna asks oh my lord what is Brahman oh supreme person what is Brahman and Krishna says an indestructible transcendental living entity is called Brahman but the jiva who cannot be destroyed who is spiritual they are called Brahman
That's also definition of soul.
so is the soul Brahman or no
Yeah, it is indestructible.
indestructible
Yeah, it's living also.
so when
Means Brahman can be Lord also and us also, but in will differ in potency.
so you are saying that we are Brahman
We are qualitatively.
qualitatively okay so we are Brahman right yeah okay Krishna is also Brahman
Yes, it's like ocean and drop.
yeah so am I God clear I am Brahman Krishna is also Brahman but I am not Krishna because I am of Satchidananda Krishna is Satchidananda but because I am Satchidananda he is Satchidananda doesn't mean that we are equal so that's where the interpretation comes it never says anywhere in the scripture that Jiva is Bhagavan that line is added. I am Brahman, I'm Brahmasmi, God is Brahman, that is there. But since he is Brahman, I am Brahman, so we are same. That is an interpretation. That's where it's so subtle that we can miss it. Clear?
You could just infer because of those two.
Adi Shankaracharya, yeah. He said, for example, I am a male, he is a male, so we are one. Eh, are you talking? I know this, right? So I am Brahman, he doesn't mean we are same. Son is a living and son is a child, son is a what, human, father is a human, so son and father are same. No.
That's the argument is given for God also. For God. Devi Devatas, Krishna, everybody is same.
That's Adi Shankaracharya. Yeah, that's
And not even humans, they say God is all gods are all. किसी की भी पूजा करो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता.
yeah. That's Adi Shankaracharya philosophy. So clear? Can we move forward? If you don't ask any question, then I assume that you are getting everything. But I mean, if I have to cover 6 chapters in 1.5 hours, then not my fault, right? Okay.
optional question.
Huh?
Optional question में जाएगा.
Yeah, optional questions are there. So Brahman is the Jiva. Then he says, Arjuna asks, what is karma? Karma is that gives us another body. What is Adi Bhuta? Adi, what is first Adhyatma? Adhyatma. Adhyatma is the nature of the Jiva. Adhyatma. Adhyatma. Atma means self. Na?
Atma जो
Adhyatma.
MTA or
वो
TM?
spelling mistake. ये
Yeah.
Atma.
Eternal nature of the Jiva, which is to render service to Bhagwan. Then Adi Bhuta. Bhuta is like the material nature. So Adi Bhuta is the physical nature which is constantly changing. Then Adi Deva is the supreme, the source of demigods, Adi Deva, and that is a universal form. Then Adi Yagya is the enjoyer of all the yagyas, and that is Paramatma. And then the last question is, how can one remember you at the time of death? So Krishna says, those who know me as Adhyatma, Adi Bhuta, Adi Deva, सब मैं ही हूँ. They can attain me or know me at the time of death. So Arjuna asks, what are these? Then he says, well, this is an Adhyatma karma. It comes under, I mean, it's a little bit more technical. I'll show you the verse so that
What does adding Adi mean?
original. Adi Guru is Balaram. No? Adinath means the original of
Deva, like Deva.
Deva is Devatas. Adi Deva. Then if you see here, I mean, I don't want to confuse you. It's not so much important from exam point of view. But here it says, Te Brahma Tad Vidhu Krishna Jara Marana Mokshaya Mam Ashritya Yatanti Te Brahma Tad Vidhu Krishna Adhyatma Karma Chakhilam. So here from there Arjuna asks, what is Adhyatma, what is Karma, what is Brahma? So 3 questions he takes from here, 29th verse, and remaining 5 questions from the next verse. Intelligent person who are endeavoring for liberation from old age and death take refuge in me in devotional service. They're actually Brahman because they entirely know everything about transcendental activities. They are Brahman in a way that they have realized that they are spiritual. And they are realized soul, so they know everything about transcendental activities. Or they are self-realized. Or they know about me and what is everything about me.
Only unless we have this realization, can we call us Brahma?
We are covered. Covered.
Yes, but intellectually or
Huh.
no.
I mean, yeah, theoretically, we are, and that's why the Brahmana means one who is focused on realizing that he is Brahman. That's what the word Brahmana means. Okay, so nobody understood anything, right? It's not needed for exam. Okay, so we keep moving forward.
Actually, it's like from second chapter and last chapter, it is written in past exam like that. It is anything there.
Yeah, so 7 chapters. 30% paper is from 7 chapters. Remaining 30% is from 12 chapters. पास तो हो जाएगी ये तो चैट कर yeah okay we'll move forward so basically all these things is fine, no need to remember. The name of the chapter is attaining the supreme, because the 8th question Arjuna asks is how can one know you at the time of death. So Krishna says that those who remember me at the time of death will attain me. Then Srila Prabhupada says that it is not possible for an impure soul to remember Krishna at the time of death. Um, and therefore we have to become pure. Then only we can remember Krishna at the time of death. Then how do we purify ourselves? We purify ourselves by practicing remembrance. We must remember Krishna now so that we can remember Krishna at the time of death. So then how can we remember Krishna now? So Srila Prabhupada says one should live in a mode of goodness. One should live one's life dedicated to service of Krishna. Constantly chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and tolerate all impediments like a tree. So if one lives like that, then it becomes favorable to practice remembrance. And if we practice remembrance now, then at the time of death we can remember Krishna. Therefore, Krishna tells Arjuna that while fighting, you remember me also. Mam anusmaran yuddhacha. You perform yuddha, but mam anusmaran. But you remember me while performing yuddha. This way you will attain me without fail, if you always remember me. And then Krishna also says that there are other ways you can remember me. You can remember me as one who is beyond all material conception. You can remember me as one who is always a person. Remember me as one who is inconceivable. Remember me as one who is luminous like sun. Remember me as one who controls everything. Remember me as one who maintains everything. Remember me as one who is knower of everything. And remember me as one who is even smaller than the smallest, because he's in every atom also. So these are various ways to remember Krishna. And if we practice remembrance now, then we'll remember Krishna at the time of death. And that's how we can attain him at the time of death. But others who don't remember me at the time of death, based on their consciousness at the time of death, they will attain that form. Or whatever we remember, that state we will attain without fail, O Arjuna. So then this is about a general. What is our next destination, or how can one attain Krishna at time of death? Then Krishna also explains about the Dhyan Yogi in the previous chapter, 6th chapter. So then how Dhyan Yogis can attain perfection? So Dhyan Yogis, Krishna says, first of all, they renounce all sense gratification, Pratyahara. Remember Pratyahara? And so they renounce all, or they withdraw from all sense gratification.
Yeah.
Pratyahara, Pratyahara also remember. 8 Ashtanga. So then they practice Satya Chakra Yoga. And what is Satya Chakra Yoga is like they chant Om, they slowly raise their life air to Agya Chakra, which is fixed like on top of the head. Then they leave body at their will while remembering the Supreme Lord, and they attain the spiritual planet. So this is how the Dhyan yogis can attain. So you see the difference between how can one attain the Lord?
Consciously remembering.
When? That can be possible when we practice now. So two kind of people remember Krishna at time of death. One are yogis and one are bhaktas. Others one are like idhar udhar jayenge wo. So yogis, how they remember at the time of death? Through this practice. यहाँ पे लाएंगे, भगवान का स्मरण करेंगे, चले जाएंगे. How bhaktas remember at the time of death? Just chant Hare Krishna, live in a mode of goodness, tolerate the impediments, and continuously chant and serve Krishna. Yeah.
So the class of human,
Dhritarashtra practice this yoga.
this one, right? Bonding.
Yeah.
So this, I think home is equivalent to
Om is Krishna's energy. Om is Krishna's impersonal feature.
that's how they like the yogis.
The yogis chant Om. But they refer to the Lord only in a different.
That's fine. Like they also go back to Golo.
No. Vaikuntha.
Like,
Vaikuntha or Brahman.
so the only side question we hear like in galaxy sound home.
Yeah.
So who chants that?
Well, uh, it's not mentioned in the scriptures that the sound Om is coming from galaxy. But I'm not refuting that it's not coming. I'm not saying it's not coming. It's coming good. I don't know about.
Yeah, because it is like Krishna's why you chant his own energies.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So then Dhyan Yogi is attained by that perfection and they attain spiritual planet. Then what is the spiritual planet? What is the description of spiritual planet? Krishna says is the supreme destination. Having gone there, one never returns. It is eternal. It is full of unlimited bliss. It fulfills all desires. Like if you're on spiritual planet, everything is a kalpa prediction, a desire fulfilling. Spiritual word is all attractive and spiritual word is infallible. It is never covered by usury energy. So these are some of the description of the spiritual planet. Then whereas the material world Krishna says is temporary and is miserable. And it's temporary, actually we understand, we are also temporary. But why it is miserable? It is miserable because there is repeated birth and death. Everyone manifests at the beginning of Brahma's days and everyone is helplessly annihilated at the end of Brahma's day. Brahma lives for the whole life now. So every day the living entities are born and by the time night comes, everyone is destroyed. Then born, then destroyed, then born, then destroyed. And in between, there is birth. Then Prabhupada adds there is old age, there is disease, there is death. And that's how the whole existence is miserable existence. And anything.
Things of with Brahma's 1 year, that is different. Like we have another kind of
Because all the universes, all the planets are destroyed. No?
thing.
Is
Full.
destroyed.
Full.
And even the devatas, everything is gone. But for us, in one day of Brahma, like millions of births for us. But even if someone is higher planet or this, everybody, you know. So just the general understanding Krishna gives, he doesn't give the detail that comes in Bhagavatam. But Krishna gives general understanding that this place is miserable. And he says because there is continuous birth and that every day we die and every day we take birth again. So Krishna says that's why one should not remain here. One should go to spiritual world, which is eternal, full of bliss, full of knowledge, fulfill all desires, supreme destination. Having gone there, whenever it is, one should go there, and one can do that by remembering him at the time of death.
So spiritual planet and heaven, the difference would be that you fall.
Yeah, heaven we die also, no? Huh?
Yes, death is not there, right? That is otherwise it will feel like fulfills all desire and the right thing to do.
No, there is a frustration too. Indra also is frustrated. There also the demons attack, then they lose their kingdom. Then they go and they're like, hey, we need our kingdom. They perform yagya. They kill the priest only who does the yagya. Then he get the further sin. Then Vratasura, hey Krishna, please kill Vratasura. And then in this way, they're constantly struggling to maintain. Because they want to maintain the king, they want to maintain, and there are so many disturbances and so many mistakes and so much reaction. And then Indra is like a black lady with blood all over chases him and he becomes fearful. So he hides for 1,000 years in a stem of a lotus. Huh? In a stem of a lotus, he hide himself for 1,000 years. And by the meantime, another person becomes Indra, and he says to Indra's wife, "You are my wife now. I am Indra." So she also plans in such a way that he takes service from Saptarishis and he fell down. This is their story, bro. Nothing so attractive. दूर के ढोंगी सुहावने बोलते हैं. So that's why Krishna says from up to down, Brahma Bhuvan Loka Punavarta. Everything is a place of misery. So you just go to spiritual world. Okay. Then Krishna says, Supreme Lord is Supreme Lord is attainable through unalloyed devotion. Bhaktya labhyas ananyaya. Bhaktya labhyas ananyaya. But Krishna does not, basically, I am attainable through unalloyed devotion. You see how two thoughts are going in parallel, the thoughts of yogis and the thoughts of bhakta. So describe about yogis, and then when it comes to bhakta, he says through bhakti, through unalloyed devotion, I am attainable. Like, and then he says, but there is destination of unaccomplished yogis that depend upon the time of their death. If they leave their body in light during the influence of sun god, during auspicious moment of the day, during the fourth night of waxing moon, which is during the time it goes from Amavasya to Purnima, or one sun travels towards the north, Uttarayana, which is from January to July around. If they leave their body, if they're not successful yogis can leave their body at their will from Agya Chakra, but if they're not successful yogis, then it depends upon their destination is dependent upon what time they leave the body. If they leave the body during these times, they attain Brahma Jyoti. But if they leave the body during other times, they attain the heavenly planets like moon, and then they return to this material world. They don't have to go down for sure. They are practicing yoga now. But then either their destination is to heavenly planet or the destination is beyond. That in Brahma Jyoti. But devotees just by unalloyed devotion. So destination of unalloyed devotees is independent of when they leave their body. But for those who are Sat Chakra yoga practitioners, they, if they're perfect, they remember the Lord and they leave. If they're not perfect, they won't be able to remember the Lord. So they are given some grace what time they leave the body. Therefore, Arjuna, Krishna recommends, a person who accepts the path of devotion is not bereft of the result obtained from study of Vedas, Yagya, Dan, Tapa, Yoga, etc. and finally obtains the supreme. So if somebody take the path of devotion, they don't have to worry about anything. Whatever result can be obtained through yoga, they obtain it. And through Dan, Tapa, Yagya, Vedas, whatever. They get everything. So basically every chapter ends with accept the path of devotion. That's the end of 8th chapter. Attaining the supreme. Very easy actually. Huh? Very clear. Okay, good.
7th chapter is saying I am supreme is explaining. 8th chapter is saying how to achieve it.
Yes. How to achieve. Because that is Arjuna's question. How can one attain you? The 9th chapter is the most confidential knowledge. Characteristic of spiritual knowledge. So first Krishna says that this knowledge is Rajvidya, Rajguhya, Pavitam Paramamma. So basically first is Rajvidya, king of knowledge. How this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita's king of knowledge? Three things that we may want to remember. First thing is, it is the essence of all philosophies explained before. Whatever is explained even through first 8 chapter, this is the essence. That's why this knowledge, 9th chapter, is called most confidential knowledge. One devotee did ask Prabhupada, if I have to read only one chapter in Bhagavad Gita, which chapter? Prabhupada says, read the 9th chapter. That's why the name of the chapter is also called the most confidential knowledge. Prabhupada explains in the purport, 2nd chapter explains we are the soul, which is confidential. The 7th chapter explains the soul is superior energy of Krishna, which is more confidential. And here in 7th chapter establishes I am the soul who is part of Krishna. And here the relationship between soul and God. That is also described. It's actually the last section of this chapter which makes it this chapter more confidential. which is low.
Maybe only Bhaktas can understand.
Very few people actually know that we are spirits or understand we are spirit soul. There are few people, even Brahman realize, yogis, they also understand we are spirit soul. But then among them who realize we are spirit soul, very few realize kind of interaction is there between God and us. Clear?
Theoretically, we understand, like, we read this 2 years back, but it's a matter of a spiritual experience.
Some interaction, how Jiva and God interacts. Little bit, little bit. Okay, so that's why it is the essence of all the philosophies explained before. Then there are many philosophers like Gautama, Yajnavalkya, all the philosophies. And that's why this is called Rajavidya. It's very important. Why this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is called the king of all knowledge? Because it, first of all, it is best from the previous chapters. Second, all the other such great shastras are there, and the essence of all this is this. And thirdly, because what to speak of material education like science, biology, there are so much other education also. So what to speak? Then not only that, this knowledge is also most confidential. Most confidential because we saw it's about the interaction between Jiva and Krishna. Also is confidential because if, like Prabhupada says, just by reading it we cannot understand. But yes, because by coming in contact with the spiritual knowledge, all of one's, I mean, haven't written them because there is no need for exam, but it is called purest because we discuss about bijam, kutam, prarabdha, aprarabdha, nectar of devotion. You got full marks also. Right? So all those elements are also destroyed by this knowledge because this knowledge is so pure. That's why it is called purest. It can directly be perceived. You can directly perceive it if you practice. It is a perfection of religion. I mean, Krishna consciousness. It is blissful and it is everlasting. Means any progress made is has an eternal effect. And these are some of the characteristics of spiritual knowledge. Then, uh, okay. Any questions? With bhakti yoga, huh? With bhakti yoga, we can understand. That's why it can directly be perceived. You will have a direct realization, but not with the eyes, because okay, the holiday, and I'm making everyone's holiday into. Okay. Then inconceivable qualities of Krishna. Krishna says, in my Brahman feature, these are some more qualities Krishna describes in this chapter. He says, in my Brahman feature, I pervade the entire universe. All beings are in me. Because if you see, we are all within the universal form, yet I am aloof. So everything is in me, yet I am not in them. How everything is in me, how everything is in Krishna, because we are all within the universal form, and how he is aloof because he is dancing in Golok Vrindavan, so he's aloof also. I am the maintainer of all living entities, and I am everywhere, yet I am not part of this creation. So, in his personal feature, as Krishna of Vrindavan, he is not part of this creation. Yet, as Brahman feature, he is everywhere, he is in every atom. And he is a maintainer. As Shiv Dakshai Vishnu, he is a maintainer. So, he is a maintainer also, he is everywhere also, yet he is not a part of this creation. And he is the source of this creation also, as Mahavishnu. As wind rests in the sky, all living beings rest in me. If you see, wind is very massive, but wind is always under the sky. Krishna says, all living beings rest on me. Under my will, this material nature, this cosmic manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. When Krishna breathes out, all cosmic manifestation comes out. When he breathes and everything goes in. So under my will, it is again and again annihilated. And who does that? The material nature, which is the Maya Shakti. Under she does, like we saw Jiva desire, God sanction, and the material nature executes. So material nature executes all this creation, annihilation, but material nature also works under Krishna's will. Krishna is telling this is inconceivable energy of Krishna. Still, although I pervade everything, I am aloof, I am the source, I am the maintainer, I am everywhere. I am the source of this creation. Everything rests on me. Still, fools deride me. They don't understand me when I descend in my human like form. They are attracted by atheistic views. They do not know that I am the supreme Lord of all that being. Right? Means, ये तो इंसान, he is my relative. He is like this, he is like this. They don't understand who Krishna is. So Krishna is himself claiming, I am the source and I am aloof and I am the maintainer of all living entities. Yet they don't understand my transcendental nature as a supreme Lord. And they think I am just a human. So fools deride me. So and then those because they don't know me, okay, then so these are fools. They deride me. And then what about the great souls? The great souls, Mahatmanas Tumam Partha, Devi Prakriti Mashrita. Great souls, they perpetually worship me with devotion because they know who I am. They perpetually worship me with devotion. They always remain under the shelter of my internal energy. This is the only place where Radharani is referred in Bhagavad Gita. Daivim Prakritim Ashrita. Daivi Prakriti is Haladri Shakti or Srimati Radharani. All basically the devotees of the Lord, the great souls who worship in devotion, they are always under the shelter of Srimati Radharani or under the shelter of Krishna's internal potency. And they always engage in chanting my glories. And these are great souls, these are fools. And then there are other worshippers also, indirect worshipper. They worship me as Brahman. They worship me through demigods, because if they worship demigods, they are indirectly worshipping Krishna, but in a wrong way, avidhi purvakam. Or some of them, they perform yagyas, but those who perform yagya, they should know Krishna says, I am the butter, I am the fire, I am the Vedic mantras, I am the herbs, I am the chants, I am Om, I am heat in the fire, everything is me only. And some of them worship me in the universal form. Is it that? Go and show your face, then he'll be happy. Okay, clear on this? It's very nice flow actually. Krishna is describing in a very simple words. The whole Bhagavad Gita culminates in just surrender. That's the whole essence. You go ahead. Everyone's head is down and they're like, I don't know what is going on.
Krishna is very clear.
Krishna is very clear.
Then why there has been so much confusion when he's so direct and so clear?
I don't know.
That's the most amazing thing.
Krishna says that's why when they're covered, they cannot understand. And they give an interpretation based on their understanding. Then Prabhupada says, don't call it Bhagavad Gita, call it your Gita. Yesterday, Mataji was mentioning we write our own Gitas. Just call it your Gita. Why? Bhagavad Gita is very clear. Bhagwan, what is speaking, is clear in his presentation. Okay, this chapter is very nice, and this chapter is very important also. There are two questions from this chapter, at least two from this chapter. There are two questions. See, every page has two questions. Somebody was asking something. Yeah, but we are done with 4 already. Huh? Ari, you had a question?
Yeah, I was asking
Yes.
for worship the uniform, those who worship the uniform, universal form, why they come under indirect?
You're not worshipping Krishna. No? Just worship. They worship universal form. Some do yagya, some do demigod, some worship Brahman. So,
So I thought the form.
The Virat Kohli.
Virat Kohli. That's the universal form. Yeah.
So why is that different then?
Universal form is temporary by nature. When universe is destroyed, that's the only form which is temporary. Because what is universal form made up of? Brahmana, Kshatriya, and then higher planetary system, lower planetary system, trees and mountains. When the universe is destroyed, what is it's made up of universe. The devatas. The devatas are also gone. Everything is gone.
Somewhere isn't like Arjuna when he's asking like, okay, show me your original form, and that's when he showed the universe.
No, he will come to
Okay.
next chapter.
Okay, because I think later he got afraid and he said like, okay, come to the normal form.
We are coming there in 2 chapters today only. Okay. So then the glories of bhakti. The glories of bhakti is very important question, and it is very nice also. This is what makes this whole chapter very confidential. Glories of bhakti, even if one is low born, one can attain the supreme destination by the process of bhakti. Bhakti is so pure, it doesn't matter about your past. Give you the supreme destination. Even if one commits the most abominable activity, he should be considered saintly because bhakti will purify him. If he's just doing bhakti, even if occasionally most abominable activity, he will overcome it. This is glories of bhakti. If one does everything keeping Krishna in the center, Krishna says, Yat karo siyat dasnasi yat josi dadasiyat yat tapasasi kontaya tad guru madarpana. If one does everything keeping Krishna in the center, whatever we do, whatever we give away, whatever we eat, whatever austerities we perform, if we do everything for Krishna, then he will become free from bondage and will attain Krishna. Then Krishna says that person will come to me and he will become free from bondage of earth. Then Krishna says, I am not partial to anyone. I am equal to all. But whoever is friend in me, I am friend to them. Anyone who thinks of me, become my devotee, worship me, offer obeisance unto me, will surely come to me, Krishna says. So in this way, Krishna is very encouraging. This glories of bhakti, that anyone who perform bhakti. Here Krishna also describes how to practice bhakti. Think of me, become my devotee, offer obeisances to me, worship me, hear about me. Um, and then the benefit is very nice. Then Krishna also says, if one offers me a leaf, a fruit, flower, or water with love, I will accept it. Actually, 3 questions comes in this chapter. Intelligent people can understand what I'm trying to say.
Yes,
Okay. Then, can you write a commentary on this verse? Pattam pushpam phalam toyam. So first thing is bhakti is very easy. Why it is easy? If you, who cannot have a leaf? Even who cannot have a flower? Who cannot have a water? So even that thing, if you offer with love, Krishna will accept. Krishna wants only loving service. Why? Because Krishna is self-sufficient, Atmara. He doesn't need anything. Duryodhana invited him for anything to please Krishna other than love. Prabhupada said one should not offer meat. because Krishna says, I will accept these things. So all the leaf contains all the vegetations actually, fruit, flower, gehu, everything comes from vegetation. Anything which is offered to Krishna becomes spiritualized. And so these all things you can mention about. Okay, continue.
We
How-
got one question and answer, now we are happy.
How many of you are understanding 50?
We need like at least 2 to 3 times to do.
Then we-
Next week, leave 15 minutes.
50 is only 4 pages.
Okay.
Only one I can.
Huh? This speaks about word anyways. So opulence of the absolute. This chapter describes the opulences of Lord on which the Lord can fix his mind. Krishna says this is the essence of Bhagavad, supremely glorious. This is the only verse which is repeated twice in Bhagavad Gita. It is repeated twice in Bhagavad Gita. Man mana bhavna bhakto madi ajimam namaskaru. At the end of 18th chapter, Krishna says this. At the end of 9th chapter, ends with this. 18th chapter almost mame kam sharanam braja. Abandon everything, just surrender on. उससे पहले वो बोलते हैं मन माया भगवत याजी माम नमस्कार. Actually, goal of Bhagavad Gita is not for Arjuna to fight the battle. वो तो छूट गया actually. अभी बोल रहे मेरे भक्त हो ना. This is where people go. This is how you can come to me. This spiritual what is the connection of this? Arjuna cannot fight. So Bhagavad Gita is not for violence and not for non-violence. Bhagavad Gita is for bhakti yoga. भगवान का सेवा कर. No matter what question they ask.
But in this point,
Oh, remembering comes in chat.
So then the question comes, okay, Krishna says, always remember me, always think of me. How can we always think of Krishna? Then we can think of Krishna even by seeing this. I am the source of Devatas, all the demigods. I am the source of the sages. None of them know of my opulence. I am the source of Saptrishis, the 14 Manus, the 4 Kumaras. All mankind then come from them. One who is convinced of this opulence of mine engages in my unalloyed devotional service. बट कृष्णा ने बोल तो दिया है ना, बाकी कन्विंस आप हो जाओ, भगवान ने बोला.
बच्चे वाले भाई बात नहीं सुनते, वो भगवान की बात कैसे सुनेंगे?
Then Krishna speaks about the Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita. Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita is the summary of Bhagavad Gita in four shlokas. There is one question from Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita. You don't have to remember all the 4 verses. It's a very simple question, but there is one question from the Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, I am the source of all spiritual and material world. Everything comes from me. Wise who knows this engages in my devotional service. So the goal is engage in my devotional service, and the connection of everything is everything belongs to Krishna. Krishna says, "This is Sambandha Gyan. I am the source of all spiritual material, but Sambandha is everything belongs to him. Everything comes from him. And one who knows this engages in my devotional service. The thought of my pure devotees dwell in me. The pure devotees, they always think of me. They dedicate their life to serving me. They derive great bliss and satisfaction by discussing about me. This is the process, Abhidya. The process is they discuss about me and they derive great bliss and satisfaction. Those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, those who serve me constantly, I give them the understanding by which they can come to me. Anyone remember this verse?
Giving the
Dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayati. I give them the buddhi, the intelligence. Dadami. Tesham sadata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. Those who worship me, bhajatam priti purvakam, with love. Priti means love. Bhajatam priti purvakam. Dadami buddhi yogam. I give them intelligence. Yenamam upayanti, by which they can come.
service is the key.
Those who are constantly engaged in serving me with love. That service is also 9 kind. Na? Hearing, chanting. These are all kinds of services. Anybody who is engaged in loving service to me. Prabhupada says you don't need to know Shastra also. Prabhupada says Krishna will drag you to success. You just need to be sincerely engaged in devotional service. Bhakti Shastri, pass or fail. Going back to God is not dependent on this. It's dependent upon your serving Krishna.
6.34 is the same. 6.34 is this to control the mind, follow these 9 principles. And again, he's saying with those 9 principles, you will understand me.
With those 9 principles, if your life is dedicated to serving me with love, I'll give you the intelligence by which you will come to me. Our progress is based on Krishna's mercy. And how he gives us the understanding? Krishna says, I do special favor.